A field that offers little protection for its quarterback will offer protection from COVID-19.
And what did WSU remove from their admissions requirement? Murrow News 8 starts now.
From the Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University, this is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Asia Farrington.
And I'm Vonne Fair. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
63-year-old policeman Carl Wesley Jackson has been arrested for alleged possession of child pornography. The Whitman County Sheriff's Office was notified about the case early last week, which was handed over to the department's Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. Investigators tracked the IP address to Jackson's house and obtained a warrant Friday afternoon. His first appearance is in court today in Colfax.
A man was injured in a fire that destroyed a home in Moscow on Sunday morning. City of Moscow volunteer firefighters were called to the fire and found heavy fire conditions when they arrived. According to Moscow Fire Chief Brian Nickerson, the smoke alarms in the home were not working.
SAT and ACT scores are no longer required for admissions to Washington State University. WSU said there are better metrics to better reflect a potential student's ability to succeed. Many universities waived or made SAT and ACT scores optional during the pandemic. WSU Board of Regents voted to waive test scores permanently.
A new coronavirus death has been reported in Whitman County today. The death count is now 46 people in Whitman County since the start of the pandemic. Coronavirus activity level in Whitman County has risen to the high range due to the increase in cases among WSU students. 60 new cases of coronavirus were confirmed in Whitman County over the weekend, with all new patients in the age group 79 and younger. Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories is hosting a COVID-19 vaccine clinic on Monday, March 22nd. The clinic is by appointment only for Pullman residents over age 65, as well as people over 50 who live in a multi-generational household. The clinic is also accepting pre-K educators, K-12 teachers, and child care workers.
Lumen Field is now the site of a mass vaccination center in Seattle, Washington. The Seattle Seahawks Stadium opened over the weekend and will now be a site for citizens to receive vaccinations. Health officials are set to vaccinate 5,000 people per week, but the venue is large enough to vaccinate up to 150,000 people per week if supplies are available. According to Seattle Mayor, Lumen Field is currently the largest vaccination site in the country.
The Vatican declared today that the Catholic Church won't bless same-sex unions because God, quote, cannot bless sin, end quote. The church distinguished between the church welcoming and blessing those who are gay, but not their unions. The two-page explanation argued that same-sex unions are not part of God's plan, and sacramental recognition of them could be confused with marriage.
Lawmakers in Idaho passed a bill on Friday that outlaws abortions if a heartbeat is detected in the fetus. The new bill states that if abortions are performed and a heartbeat has been detected, this will result in a felony. Women who undergo the procedure are allowed to sue any doctor who performed an abortion when a heartbeat was present. This bill does not apply to women whose lives are in danger or if they become pregnant as a result of rape or incest. Returning students' communication skills are being put to the test while trying to find housing for next school year. Murrow News 8 reporter Henry Lenhart has more information.
How does one find a place to live if they can't check it out?
This process has been pretty stressful. Very stressful, actually.
It's the lease signing time of year, and whether it's a house, apartment, or dorm, it can be a stressful experience, but even more so with COVID-19. WSU student Zach Price found this process to be very challenging.
It was kind of, it was uncomfortable signing a lease or planning to sign a lease and doing all these approval processes when you don't really know what the inside of a building looks like. Like, you can look in the pictures and everything, and that doesn't really give you the full idea. Like, you can only get so much out of it. So it's, I don't know, it's weird. Just because everyone else I've talked to in the past that has done this, they've been able to go and see tours and everything because it was pre-COVID.
Zach lives in Pullman, where he can drive to see his potentially new house. But for out-of-state students like Brian Hooker, they only have pictures to look at.
But a lot of it is just like looking at photos online. You kind of try and put yourself in the room when you look at the photos, but it's definitely not the same as if it was in person and if it was a tour.
Students' communication skills are being put to the test, whether it's finding a new roommate or the countless phone calls and emails they have to make just to sign the dotted line. Sherry Menke of Highland Property Management in Pullman says that almost every aspect of her job has gotten harder, from maintenance requests to dealing with new tenants. She also gave some advice for students going through this process.
A lot of us too, our whole lease signing process is now online too. Sometimes that can be 17, 20 pages, 12 to 20 pages of legal jargon that you might not understand. Talk to your folks, have them help you read it, talk to the property manager, have them go through it with you over the phone or something like that. If you don't understand, don't sign anything and ask a lot of questions.
Reporting in Pullman, I'm Henry Lenhart.
A historical night for women at the Grammys.
And a long overdue reopening of a favorite Pullman bar. Reporter Sigmund Soroka will be live on the scene when we come back.
Thanks, Vonne. And I'm here at the Coug. The Coug is back, but unfortunately there's no bartenders or customers. If you look around, you can see that there's no one else here. They had to close down today at 4 because the card reader systems weren't working. You couldn't process any payments, so you can't get any customers' money to keep the place open. They closed today at 4 after people waited 4 months. You're going to have to wait at least 15 more hours before they reopen tomorrow at 11 a.m. Back to Asia and Vonne at the...
Thanks, Sigmund. Last night's Grammy Awards show was full of historical moments for female artists in the industry. For the third time in her career, Taylor Swift received a Grammy for Album of the Year. Beyoncé made history, walking away with 4 Grammys, bringing her total to 28 overall. She's the first female artist to ever reach this achievement. After sweeping all of the major categories last year, Billie Eilish became the only to win the Record of the Year Grammy back-to-back.
Chipotle will be opening its doors this Friday, officially beginning business in Pullman. Chipotle will include a Chipotlane, which is an online ordering drive-through lane, and will look to keep up with their average employment rate of 25 people per restaurant.
With spring getting closer by the day, let's check in with our weatherman, Alan Lester, to get an update on the forecast. Alan?
Thanks, Asia. Yeah, no, definitely. Today was a subtle reminder that winter is not quite done with us yet, even as the spring season approaches. We had a high of 44 today and a low of 31, and we also saw a little bit of mixture of rain and snow in that, with a bright little brisk wind of 11 miles an hour from the northwest. That sunrise and sunset, though, was at 7 a.m. and it's about to go to 7 p.m. tonight, so you're almost getting close to that 12-hour sunrise period. Now, if we start looking at tomorrow, though, the temperatures are going to start improving. We get a high of 50 degrees and a low of 33. It's going to be still a little bit cloudy and a little bit windy, 6 miles an hour coming from the northwest. Getting still pretty close right on to that 12 hours of daylight, so that's something to get excited about. If we look at that state map now, today was pretty much just a gloomy day across the state. Olympia and Seattle were pretty much, mid-40s, 46 and 45 respectively, but also a little bit of rain and partly cloudy. If we start looking at the mid-state, Yakima was a high of 52 with a low of 29, and the Tri-Cities area was a high of 55 and a low of 34. Now, if we start going to the eastern part of the state, Spokane had a high of 49 and a low 32, and Pullman 44 and 31. Now let's start looking at that 5-day forecast. If we start looking over here, like we already talked about, Monday, still today was that 44, Tuesday was 50, but I want you guys to pay attention to that Wednesday and Thursday section. It's going to be high of 60s, and Friday is going to start being more of a back to low 50s. So back to you guys at the desk.
The name of a beloved WSU stadium may look a little different.
And what Washington University ranked #1 in the NCAA basketball tournament? More when we come back.
The WSU women's basketball team takes a 9th seed for the NCAA women's basketball tournament. Going into the tournament, the team will have a 12-11 record. The Cougs will face South Florida for their first game. The first round of the tournament is scheduled to start March 21st. WSU renames Martin Stadium. The stadium will now be called Giesa Field. The naming rights for the stadium sold in a 10-year agreement with Giesa Credit Union for at least $11 million. The revenue will help the WSU athletic department that is facing a deficit of more than $30 million. Giesa Field will debut on September 4th when the Cougar football team hosts Utah State. Gonzaga University is the #1 seed for the NCAA tournament. The Bulldogs have a 26-0 record and received all 60 first-place votes to receive the top spot. They are the first team since Kentucky in the 24-2015 season to be #1 in every poll and the 14th overall. The Zags will try to be the first unbeaten national champion since Indiana in 1976. Saints quarterback Drew Brees is retiring. After 20 seasons, the QB announced his retirement Sunday on Instagram. Brees is the all-time leader in career passing yards, completions, and completion percentage, and has earned 5 All-Pro honors, 2 Offensive Player of the Year awards, and was the Super Bowl 44 MVP.
Murrow News 8 will be right back.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, no. This warrior will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Thanks for watching. If you missed anything in this or any of our previous newscasts, you can always watch us on our YouTube channel.
More news can be found at nwpb.org/MNA, and you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Have a good night.